I've got some questions for you today regarding your role in the new movie Desperate Riders. And I think I just want to start with how was it working with the director and your fellow actors, especially when it came to all the shootout scenes throughout the entire movie?
Well, it's a crew that you got to trust, especially when you're dealing with westerns and armory and all that. And luckily, we have one of the best in the biz. And I've worked with the producer and director four different times outside of Desperate Riders, and it's always a collective group of fun, active individuals that love what they do, which makes it exciting to be on set. I love westerns. I'm a Texas boy at heart. Austin, Texas is I call home a lot. But all in all, we felt comfortable all the way around. The weather changed on us halfway through the shoot. Week two, we got hit with the blizzard up in Tennessee, and so it just blanketed us. And so we had to adjust for that a little bit, but everybody kicked stride. Trace Atkins, I've met him a few times. I've actually worked with his wife Victoria on a couple things prior, but he's a constant professional and just all around great guy. And then you have Vanessa and Cowboy Troy. The stories he was telling, it was never dull.
Of course, yes, yes. And as you mentioned, you grew up in Texas a little bit, and I'm wondering if being a Texan, if that helped influence your Western acting in any specific way.
I always tell everybody I was born in the wrong generation. I should have been born back in the 1800s. When I was 14, I started breaking horses with a brother-in-law. He owned a ranch out in Texarkana, and I learned really quick to respect and appreciate. And man, horses and dogs are they're my spirit animal. I could ride them all day long. Every time I jump on one, the horse wrangler goes, "You like being on those, don't you?" I go, "Try to get me off, man. I'll take it to lunch. I'll take it anywhere you want me to go." Let's go.
That was definitely evident in the movie. Y'all were all great at horse riding. But I looked at some of your other works that you've done in the past, and I'm curious how Western acting for you has been different compared to other shows you've done in the past, like your detective shows and things like that.
Well, I think you take the same mindset. It depends on the character, of course. Like Kansas Red, he's not a bad guy. He's just a guy that had a hard life that fell into a position, and he sees the good in some people in that position, and he goes and helps to try to correct the wrong. So you can kind of relate to that character. It's the ones that are unexpected, that the bad guys or the guy next door that is the serial whatever. Those are the ones that are really fun. But I think all in all, I think playing a character like the Western and jumping into NCIS or True Detective or any of those, they all allow growth and creativity, but it starts with a core. And I'm just a good old Texas boy, so.
For sure, for sure. And speaking of Texans and westerns, are there any performances by any actors in westerns or just in general that inspired you in playing the role of Kansas Red?
Well, I kid around, and everybody says this, I'm sure, but Clint Eastwood is my all-time. I mean, I love the Duke, but Clint Eastwood is my all-time. I just think he plays such an incredible, broken, misunderstood, trying to struggle through life, do the right thing later in life, but always getting pulled back in. And it's that whole typical story. I grew up. Tombstones are great. You have the spaghetti westerns. I watch them all, but I always go back and watch Clint and all his stuff because I just think he did it so well.
He's phenomenal, and so are you. But
Thank you. Hey.
the next thing I was going to go into is there's this dynamic between you and the main antagonist of this film, and I'm curious what the dynamic is like between actors on set when you have to go from being angry at each other, especially in the final scenes of this movie, to just going back to being friends on set.
Well, I think it's the process. Everybody approaches a character and their process is different and how they get to that character's soul. And the great thing about Trace is he's a constant professional, like I said, but he can turn it on and turn it off. So in between takes, there's sometimes we're just cracking jokes, talking about what he's doing next or talking about what's coming up next on some other shows and enjoying ourselves. So it kept the set really, really loose and when it needed to be, because it's already high tense on a set because there's so many moving parts.
Certainly, and especially for a Western with the level of storytelling y'all were doing for this one. But speaking of storytelling, are there any fun set stories? You mentioned a blizzard, but, along with that, anything else that happened on set that was interesting?
You name it, it happens always. But no, I mean, the biggest thing on that one was the cast were so everybody enjoyed what they're doing. Even, I mean, week 2, we went from 68 degrees to 10 degrees with 13 inches of snow on the ground. And so it was a quick shift to get, to make it fit within the storyline and where we were coming out of and going into. And, the energy was high. The director, Mike Pfeiffer, he did an incredible job keeping energy high, and the crew, they just rolled with it. And everybody knows, man, this is a huge team when it comes to making movies and stuff, especially outdoors around horses, and you're in the environment. And so it takes a group, and I got lucky with this one. The group was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're all great in the movie. And another thing is, do you have any advice for UT students who may be wanting to pursue acting as a career, both in television, movies, or just anything they're looking to do?
I started late in my life. I got out of the military, opened up a bunch of businesses, woke up 30 years old, stressed out of my mind going, man, I'm going to go chase something. I want to chase something I was passionate about. And I did a commercial in Tokyo, Japan during the process of traveling. And it was that commercial, it was a Dell's computer commercial that led me to believe that I could possibly be a part of something like acting in the production company, directing, and just in the entertainment world. So I would say to you, if you have a passion for it, go chase it, because you never know where you're going to lead. You never know what the road's going to take you down and where your passion is going to end up. But if you have that passion now, go chase it. I mean, you have a great school, you have equipment around you that you can do it with, you have creatives around you can do it with. Start shooting and making something. South by Southwest is coming back, so you have all that.
Oh yes, for sure. Especially with UT, all the South by Southwest and then Austin Film Festival that comes around. And you mentioned that you've raised horses, you have horses, right? And I'm just curious how acting with horse actors, I guess they would be called, is, and how difficult that is compared to just normal scene acting.
I think it's a comfort. You have to be comfortable on a horse, and you have to respect the horse because it's a large animal, and you have to respect that people around that large animal, and that large animal may not like some of the things those people are doing. And so it's again, goes back to the team effort. Your horse wrangler is the one that controls the horse, brings it in and out, and they usually set the horse up for a show. And you get to know the horse, you get to know them, you go in, you ride it, you get comfortable with it. And then from there, you have respect. You don't wear on the horse's mouth. A lot of people like to dig into the mouth and stuff. Most great horses on set, they're pressure trained. So all you got to do is lean into a heel somewhere or a knee somewhere, and they'll just turn left or right, or just lean your weight line different sides and they'll turn left or right. You never really have to hit hard in their mouth. It's more show. So.
Oh, that's fascinating. I guess, yeah, having all that background helps, especially in case anything ever went wrong.
Yeah. Because it did. I mean, it has gone wrong before. It's not all been perfect.
Oh, horse actors. But so with that blizzard that occurred, was that something that, happened to be in the script when y'all were planning on filming, or was this something that just came in and y'all added it last minute? And as well, were there any other last minute additions that happened while y'all were filming?
I wish I could say that the production value was on purpose, but no, it brought an incredible production value to the set. It really did. The scenes within it, there's one that I'm riding full gallop across the field, with my rifle out, firing, and the snow's flying up behind the hoofs, and it's just a beautiful shot, in my opinion. But we'd have never had that if it wasn't for Mother Nature, and that's just the beautiful luck of this industry sometimes.
For sure, for sure. There's always happy accidents. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Waters, for sitting down and talking with me about this your role in Desperate Riders. Can't wait to show it to the rest of the world once it releases, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you, Rod. February 25th is going to be on demand in selected theaters, and I think April 5th is going to go out everywhere else.
And can we get a little hook'em for the UT?
Listen, my daughter's at A&M right now, but when I checked her in, I was wearing burnt orange, baby. Looking
Yeah.
forward.